Hi, this is Stephanie. Welcome to Butterfly Dreams. I am excited and thrilled to share with you that I have finally opened up an Etsy shop, which was one of my main goals for this year. And I've been wanting to open one for a long time, but a lot of self-doubt and a lot of fear for whatever reason. But I was able to overcome it, and I want to share with you some tips that I have learned. I opened my Etsy shop, I want to say, around February of 2020. It definitely has been a learning journey. When I first opened my shop, I really didn't have a lot of stock, but I was thinking of the motto, just do it. I just did it with whatever I had, and I'm still working on designs for the shop. And any moment I get, I really do work on my shop. So I've really been investing a lot of time. Let's get into some tips. Plan to invest money, and it might be a while before you see an ROI. If you're deciding to open a sticker shop, you're probably gonna need a cutting machine. And right now, the main cutting machines that I know of are Cricut and Cameo Silhouette. I personally have the Cricut. I was iffy about what machine. I was actually very apprehensive about knowing how to work the program. And then I was going back and forth with the machine and trying to research really what machine would be best fitting for my personal needs. So you will need some sort of cutting machine, of course, a printer. Printers are, I'm gonna be honest with you, it was really hard for me to come across a printer. And even though I did my research, there seems to be so much mixed reviews about printers, even on Amazon. I tried to follow other planner shops, and they also have like mixed feelings about printers. So I think it's more trial and error really at this point. Printers are kind of like the same pretty much. I think you really need to worry about the amount of ink you're going to be consuming, and you don't really want a printer that's going to be eating up a bunch of ink, especially as you're starting out. So I did purchase a printer, and it's an HP. I believe it's a 2640. I purchased a printer around Black Friday of 2019, and it turned out to be about $25 on Walmart.com. So look out for different sales and everything, because really what you're going to be investing in is a lot of ink. And so I also signed up for HP Instant Ink, where they send you your ink before it runs out, which is amazing because you don't have to worry about it. You just have to pay like a fee every month depending on how many pages you're going to be printing. But honestly, for me, it's just like peace of mind. I don't have to worry about one more thing and run out to the store whenever I need it. So I did sign up for it. I think there's like $3 plans, $4 plans, $5 plans. I'm telling you, it's definitely, for me, it has been worth it. And I think you should look into that if you're interested. I also will leave a link that you can use, which will give you, I believe, $10 off. So check it out. Sticker paper. So look into sticker paper. I know a lot of Etsy shops use Online Labels, which is the most popular brand. They have different types of paper, and they also offer free samples. So before you open your shop, you might want to get your samples and see which sticker paper you like better, and also practice cutting it and practice the setting, because you will make a lot of mistakes. That's just a given. You're going to make a lot of cut mistakes. Maybe your machine is not going to be on your right setting for the type of paper you're using. So it's best if you practice. I, for one, have messed up a lot of paper, and you're going to cringe, and it's going to make you feel a little bit bummed about it. But believe me, a lot of people go through the same exact thing. You're also going to want to invest into some kind of program to design, even if you just have clip art. I use PicMonkey. I'm not a graphic designer. I don't really know how to use Adobe, Photoshop, or Illustrator, or any of those other fancy software. So I have been using PicMonkey since I started my YouTube channel, and I find it a very easy interface to use. I will also link a discount below for you to use if you decide to sign up. I mean, you can do a lot, and there's a lot of tutorials on YouTube to make a banner for your Etsy shop, for your YouTube channel, for icons. There's so many things you can do. They have graphics and they're commercial free once you sign up. So it's definitely worth it. And now that we're on the subject of clip art, you want to make sure that whatever fonts or clip art you plan to use are for commercial use and that you have rights to use, because you don't want to be sued over it and you don't want to use somebody else's artwork and claim it as yours, because that's just a no-no. I have been using a website called Creative Fabrica, and I will also link it below. I love it. They have bundles of font, they have bundles of graphics, and it's not that expensive. And you get lifetime commercial license, so it's amazing. You can use it in your designs and whatnot. So all of that is very important prior to you opening your shop, because you want to make sure that you already have all your ducks in a row and that you have everything you need so you can start designing and creating right away for your shop. You want to make sure you do research of all the products that you're going to use. Ask people, maybe people that you know that have shops. I have a couple of friends that already have Etsy shops and they've had them for a while. They're very successful at it. So I did ask them, and they were kind enough to share their, behind the scenes secret info. If you feel comfortable, if you know someone, go ahead and ask. I've watched a lot of videos. I love to watch Catnip here on YouTube because she gives a lot of information in regards to having an Etsy shop, and she's been able to grow it over the years. So I find that she's very honest and sincere about what she uses. You can find a plethora of information. As I mentioned before, you're going to need some type of software, especially if you're thinking about opening a sticker shop, because you're going to need to create designs. And I find that the market is already so heavily saturated with sticker shops and very popular sticker shops that if you're going to start this now, you want to make stickers that are unique, that you're passionate about, that are different in designs. You don't want to be using the same clip art and designs as everybody else. I think it's important to stand out. I mean, it's okay if you do, no hate, no shade, but I think it's important to make your brand stand out in some way, shape, or form. It's important for you to know that you don't really need drawing skills. Again, I'm not a graphic designer, I'm not an illustrator or any of that. I just am passionate about sending a message with my stickers. Like, for example, this is a piece that I have in my Etsy shop, and it says chingona. Chingona basically means like a badass woman, and that's the message that I want. I want my shop to be empowerment for women. I also have things relating to the moon because I'm very fascinated by the moon and moon child and all those sorts of things. So that's what my brand is about. It's also a lot of colors, and if you can see, this is who I am. So my brand represents me, and I find that my niche market resonates greatly with my message. There is definitely a learning curve for the machines that you decide to use, even if it's just your printer, especially the cutting machines, the software. I only have been able to experiment with the Cricut, and for me, it has been really straightforward. I have messed up sometimes, but nothing that I can't redo and figure out eventually. So I really do love my machine. I love it so much. There's so many things you can do with it, not just stickers, by the way. So I really think it's a great piece to have if you're a crafter or a DIYer or a maker of some sort. I absolutely love and recommend the Cricut. Something important you should do, which I'm always doing, is keeping notes of any ideas for designs that just pop in your head throughout the day. I either write them in my phone really quickly under my notes section, or I have a notebook where I just keep all of the different ideas that just come at me. And me being a creative person, I usually get bombarded with ideas as I'm falling asleep. So I try to keep a notebook by my bed just so that I'm able to jot them down. That way you don't forget, because sometimes they're really good ideas and you want to make sure that you have somewhere where you're keeping track of all of those ideas. Always do test prints and test cuts, because sometimes I get really happy and I just start printing and I print like 3 or 4 at a time, and then I realize that my printer isn't working. and then I have to like clean the heads or do some sort of something in order for it to work properly. The same thing goes with the cuts for your stickers. You want to make sure that when you are doing a cut, especially the first time around, that you do a practice cut just so you know that it's aligning well. You want to make sure that it cuts them properly and that it's not just messing up, because you will get very angry at yourself. And don't say I didn't warn you. This has been like one of the toughest things for me, because I just start going like really happy and I feel like I'm on a roll, and then my machine decides that it needs to be calibrated. You want to calibrate the blade in your machine every so often just to make sure that it's cutting properly. Okay, so before you open your shop, you want to make sure that you already have a name for your shop, and that you try and see if it's available on Etsy, because a lot of names by now are already taken up. So you want to make sure you create a name that aligns with your brand, preferably 1 to 2 words. That's what I've learned from all the entrepreneurial courses that I've taken, and try to project into the future and see if it's a name that will grow with you. Make sure that you go into your Etsy shop and you fill your about section, that you also have like some sort of icon, and then work on a banner. PicMonkey already has preset crops for any of the things you might need for Etsy, which is so awesome, so that it fits properly, because the ratios are different throughout all of the different types of social media. So it's nice that that's already there for you, and you can just simply start creating a banner. And it doesn't have to be anything super elaborate and super illustrated. Like, I think, you know, sometimes simple is best. So if you want to just start with your name or whatever, you should definitely have that in place prior to launching your shop. So you want to make sure that you have a name, that you have worked on your icon, your banner, and at least your about section on Etsy. It's also going to give you a more professional look, which in turn is going to have buyers trust you. Make sure you keep track of all of your expenses and all of your receipts for your shop. It's very important, especially for tax purposes. Every state has different tax laws, so you really need to look into that and make sure that you are doing the right thing. So look into the laws for your specific state and your specific circumstances, and that you don't run into trouble in the future. Practice. Make sure you have great customer service skills. I think in order for you to keep your customers coming back and feeling really appreciated is if you communicate. Maybe there's a misunderstanding, maybe they're not happy with the product, maybe, you know, there's just some type of miscommunication. It's important for you to constantly receive it openly and calmly. You know, everybody's different, and especially through messages, things can be misconstrued. So you want to always make sure that you're calm and you're patient. That's just how customer service works. Otherwise, you're not going to make it. So make sure that you're respectful, that you're cordial. Most importantly, if you make any mistakes, own up to it, and try to create a customer for life by creating a positive experience from a negative experience. And last but not least, and it's important that I say this, you are going to mess up a lot. I say that from experience. You're gonna mess up a lot of cuts at the beginning. You're gonna be really angry because you're gonna see that you're wasting your paper, and you're just like gonna be so angry. It's okay. You can later save that for an oopsies bag, or a perfectly imperfect bag, as I like to call them, and people will be more than glad to buy your art even if it's slightly imperfect. So don't worry about that so much. You can also use it to give as freebies, and people can sample your products. You know, sometimes what seems imperfect for us might be beautiful for somebody else. So keep that in mind. You are going to mess up a lot. I messed up a lot. Practice. Be easy on yourself. Allow yourself the space to keep learning and evolving and growing with your shop. I've learned tips and tricks because I'm continuously watching videos, trying to find hacks and things that I perhaps don't know, and that has really helped me. So keep your mind open to to just constant learning and find ways to keep evolving and growing your shop. Practice, practice, practice. I realized that I forgot to film an outro, so here it goes. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave us comments of any tips that you may know, and remember, fly free. Bye!